before passing it. Joining us now, congressional reporter for Punchbowl News, Mica Soellner. Mica, talk a little bit about the dynamics here, because if Murkowski is out there saying this bill isn't good enough, it begs the question of how she got to yes in the first place. What did leadership promise her here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of back-channeling internal discussions that are happening. And, you know, it's clear that this bill is squeezing moderates and, you know, it's putting them in a really difficult position. I think that she was able to secure some of the things she needed to kind of make her case to Alaska. But like she was saying before, that she doesn't like this bill. She doesn't think it's good for the country. And I think that this is going to be a message that she's going to have to defend, too, you know, when she gets hit by Democrats on this constantly.
Well, and the fact that she's saying, I hope the House realizes that this bill needs more work, I think you can look at the Rules Committee vote that happened about 2 hours ago and see that some Republicans who voted yes on the initial package are saying that they don't like what changes the Senate has made. Do you anticipate that this is going to be a much more difficult and lengthy process than this artificial deadline of July 4th would allow?
Yes, for a couple of reasons. I mean, the House has a lot more members that Mike Johnson has to deal with, and a lot of them are still saying that they're going to vote no. I mean, with that caveat, we have to add that a lot of these members that have threatened to tank this bill previously in the House did vote for it, with the exception of, you know, two lawmakers, I think, including House Freedom Caucus Chair Andy Harris, who voted present. Yes. But he has gotten under pressure, and he said that he will vote no this time.
Do you think that the Freedom Caucus, because Musk has been more targeted in his outreach and lobbying against this bill, could he be successful in reigniting concerns that already existed for Freedom Caucus members around deficit reduction and deficit spending in this? Might it work, or might they get their arms bent once again by the president?
I think it's very possible, but I think that President Trump is going to be the most influential in this process, you know, despite other outside influential figures coming in. I think that Trump's going to have to make those calls. And if he does, you know, it could come with a social media blast. It could come with him threatening primaries. It has all these consequences if you go against the president.
What are the problematic changes that the Senate has made? Because Johnson was on Fox News last night saying, well, they made more changes than we like, but 80% of this bill is still exactly what the House passed. And I think it's interesting the way that he's saying, we're going to do another reconciliation package, almost trying to get his members comfortable with the idea that if they hate this one, maybe they'll get another go at it, though I'm not sure why they think they would hate the next one any less, given the way that this process has played out. What are you reading here in the tea leaves, and what changes are we likely to hear about from members as they wake up today, in many cases back in Washington, because travel's been an issue?
Yes. So the main concern among House conservatives, at least, is that they're saying that the Senate version does not coincide with the House budget framework. So they're saying that it adds a lot more to the deficit than they expected. So they're, you know, making that argument as fiscal hawks. And then obviously the more vulnerable purple district Republicans are still, you know, worried about the issues of the Medicaid and food assistance cuts that they've been very vocal about this whole time.
I do think that there's something that's interesting here, that people like Senator Josh Hawley were able to make headlines by saying they were so deeply concerned about cuts to programs like Medicaid, and then ultimately they voted for it and said, well, we're going to fight to make sure that those cuts don't take effect after the fact. I don't know why you wouldn't just have that fight during the debate over the bill itself, but we'll put that to a side for a second and question what the timeline even is going to look like for this in the best case scenario for the speaker, because travel issues are a big one here. A lot of members on both sides of the aisle are having trouble getting back to D.C., and everyone wants to be there for this vote because the margins are as tight as they are.
Yeah, so I mean, Speaker Johnson said his goal is either today or tomorrow for this bill. But, you know, I think that if he has to drag it out, it might drag into next week. He's going to have to make a lot of calls and have a lot of conversations before this vote goes to the floor.
Yeah, and hopefully they've restocked the Celsius machines. I heard yesterday that they were sold out of Capitol Hill's favorite energy drink, and you guys are going to be spending a lot of time standing outside the Speaker's office, so you're going to need it. Congressional reporter for Punchbowl News, Mica Soellner, thank you, as always.